Welcome to Big Life Weekly Series, where we empower high achievers to break free from limits, unlock their natural potential, and live a big life. I'm your host, Robert Acosta, and each week we will explore the strategies, mindsets, and tools you need to thrive, not just in your professional career, but in every aspect of your life. Whether you're a leader looking for a better balanced life, an entrepreneur aiming for sustainable success, or someone ready to take the next step toward your best self, this podcast is your space to grow, reflect, and take action. Let's dive into today's episode. Hello, I'm Robert Acosta. I'm with Andy Audate from Progreda, based in Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. Welcome, Andy.
Thank you so much for having me, Robert. I'm excited to be here with you, my friend.
Well, it's my pleasure. So let's get started right away to capture as much as we can to highlight your business. So, Andy, can you give us a 90-second overview of what your business does and why you got into it?
Yeah, so I run a marketing software company, and in our marketing software company, when small business owners need to manage their customers, they use our software to manage their customers' database as well as to capture more leads, nurture those relationships through automatic text messages and emails, and close more deals with our payment processing system in our platform.
Okay, so how you started that business, or what is interested to you?
I started a marketing consultation company where I was consulting people on their marketing. I was teaching them and educating them on how to use marketing sales funnels, how to run ads to generate sales opportunities, and how to greet, qualify, and present to close more deals. And after doing consultation, people would ask me like, hey, can you just do the build outs for me? And although my objective was to just educate the small business owner on how to do it themselves, many were just saying, hey, I'll pay for it. Can you just do it for me? And I started to doing it for them where I ran a marketing agency. So I go from consultation to agency services. And then after doing agency services, what I noticed that I was consistently doing is I was promoting other people's software. So I would say, hey, you want to build a course? Go to Kajabi. Want to build a website? Go to WordPress. Want to build an online store? Go to Shopify. And after selling and promoting other people's software, what I started to realize is, hey, I can have my own software, and instead of me sending business to other people, I can keep that all in-house.
Yeah, well, that's a very smart idea for sure. So what do you enjoy the most about your work in this industry of CRMs?
The thing that I enjoy the most is supporting small business owners and automating the repetitive tasks that doesn't actually bring a huge value to their bottom line. The fact that I can help a small business owner who is, let's say, a father or who is a mother, and they're the entrepreneur, when I can help them streamline and automate their business, what I'm doing is I'm really allowing the child to spend more time with the parent, or I'm allowing the wife to spend more time with the husband and so forth. And so I realized that my efforts is not just about just making money, but it's about giving entrepreneurs and business owners time freedom.
Yeah, that's amazing. So that's really the value you are providing. So it's an intangible and invaluable value, let's say, for
100%.
At that time, right? So how do you define success in the work you do?
How much time freedom I give back to the business owners that I do business with. When a business owner tells me, hey, I'm traveling across the world, my business is on autopilot today. I used to be stuck in the grunges of operating the business, and then they transition to, hey, I'm traveling and I'm spending more time with my family. That's when I go to my team and I say, hey, team, we are doing great work.
That's amazing. So I'm just curious, what is the biggest problem or challenge you see even in your industry? Because you have a business, but there have a lot of people in that industry. And how are you solving that for yourself, your clients, or your referral partners?
That's a great question. So you're saying is like, what's the biggest challenge that I'm having? The number one biggest challenge that I have is really on mindset. When a business owner adopts a process, whether it's effective or not, many business owners tend to become comfortable with the process. So let me give you an example. Like if I've talked to a small business owner who says, hey, Andy, for the last 15 years of me operating my business, every time a customer calls me, I would take a notepad and I would put their name, their email address, and their phone number on a piece of paper, and I would take that piece of paper on a, call it a work order form, and I would take that piece of paper from the salesperson and I would give it to the technician who's building out the product or setting up the customer or helping the customer. And so we have thousands of papers, and when you walk into their office, they have cases upon cases of customer data all throughout papers. And then if you ask them, how many customers do you have? They can't tell you. They can't look up in a simple database because it's all in these file cabinets. So when I go to a small business owner that's operating their business like that, and I tell them, hey, you can have technology capture the name of your customer. You can have it all in a database. You can send out email blasts. You don't have to send emails one by one anymore. And I tell them that technology, many times it's like, hey, Andy, I've been doing this old process for 15 years. It's worked well. To transition to this more efficient system that you're talking about, there's a huge mental workload and a huge challenge of belief. And transitioning that business owner from their old process to their new process with new technology has been my biggest challenge thus far.
Right. So there are people just working in the old school, right? Of just giving the track of their clients in a very primitive way. So it's amazing that you still find those kind of people, right?
There's out of the 32 million businesses in America, for example, there's 22.4 million businesses still don't have the type of technology that I sell today.
So having said that, who is your ideal client and what significant outcomes can they expect when working with you?
Great question. My ICP, my ideal client profile, is going to be a small business owner. They're doing about $500,000 to $2 million a year, and they're still operating with archaic systems. They still have notepads around. They're still using their iPhone to ask Siri to remind them to call a customer later. It's them and a couple of team members that have archaic systems. And then what we do is we'll plug in new technology to support them in growing and scaling. And because they have a great product, but they have an inefficient way to deliver that product, and they have an inefficient way to market that product, with the new technology that we input inside of their business, doesn't increase the cost of payroll. It doesn't increase the cost of delivery, the fulfillment. It only increases revenue. So what a small business owner experiences is going to be growth in their revenue.
Right, it's a win-win. So I always say that when you do that kind of things, so look for help. That help finally is for free, because whatever you invest in that, you're getting more, because you are focusing and generating more sales because you have this system, so this help, right?
My thought process is this, Robert. When a small business uses our technology at Progretta, when a small business uses this technology, we don't look at it as it's a cost. It's an investment where in this investment, you want to get a return on it every single month. I'll give you a scenario. I was just talking to a gentleman who sells life insurance. If his business is doing $5,988 in revenue per month inside of his business, and the way that he's making that $5,988 in revenue per month comes from him closing one deal a week out of 15 leads. So if he's marketing on social media, getting a bunch of people, and he gets 15 potential customers, he goes to networking events, he's capturing business cards, the whole 9 yards. Each week, he's hustling, and he gets 15 business cards. Out of the 15 business cards, he gets one customer out of the 15 business cards per week. And then he transitions to a system that automatically follows up. When someone says, I'm not interested, the software will then follow up 2 weeks later, a month later, a year later. On the customer's birthday, it'll send a text message that says, hey, it's Robert. Just want to say happy birthday. I hope you're having a phenomenal year this coming year for your new birthday, right? And the software is doing all of that, and they go from one deal a week to 3 deals a week. Just a 300% increase, but just that shift will help that business owner do $17,800 a month in total revenue. So they essentially added nearly $12,000 in revenue, and our software only costs $399 a month. So if someone is now making an additional $12,000 and they're paying $399 to use this technology, it becomes free for them.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer for sure. So you know how nowadays more people are actively seeking solutions to achieve better outcomes. So what makes you unique in the way you help them achieve those outcomes?
Great question, Robert. The way that we're unique is most business owners have a sales process of one-to-one. Where we specialize is having a sales process of one to many, specifically on webinars, in-person seminars, and we utilize our technology to capture large groups of customers' data. So, and here's what I mean. I'll have an insurance agent, I'll have a fitness coach get on stage in front of their ideal customer. Maybe you've seen this technology happen before, where on social media, they'll say, DM me the word ebook if you want to download my ebook. Or direct message me the word webinar to my Instagram direct message if you want to get access to my webinar. And as soon as you direct message them the word ebook or webinar, there's this automatic response that asks you, what's your name, what's your email, what's your phone number? All right, everything's sent to your inbox. That automatic experience is our technology. So we will consult with small business owners, educating them to get in front of large groups of their customers rather than one-on-one, and using our technology to capture large groups of customer data. When other CRM companies, they'll primarily just give you the tool and hope you do well with it. We want to consult with you on how to maximize the tool to help you grow your business, specifically one-to-many versus one-to-one. So, for example, when a restaurant uses our technology, we'll communicate with them and educate them on how they can pass out flyers that says, text the word dessert for a free dessert. I was talking to a business owner that it cost them 50 cents to deliver a dessert. But when they capture the name, email, and phone number of their customer, when that person texts the word dessert and they get that dessert for free, it technically, in that business eyes, costs 50 cents because they gave the dessert away for free to capture the name, email, and phone number. Now, in that email thread, with our technology, you can ask that person, what is your birthday? And then it could store that data, whether it's one person or 1,000 people, it could store that data and have an automation run on the day of their birthday and say, hey, if you choose to come to our restaurant, your meal is on us. Bring your friends and bring your family. So that 50-cent exchange to capture their name, email, phone number essentially is bringing them a customer in the future that if it's my birthday, my meal is free. However, when I bring 15 people on my birthday, all 15 people are going to spend money at that restaurant. It's a good exchange. And this is how small business owners are utilizing our technology to create sales inside of their business.
And I guess they have results immediately, right? It's not something that you need to wait to have results, but they can have it in the following weeks, right? So that's amazing. So
sometimes even in the same day, Robert. We turned on a hair salon with this technology, right? And in the hair salon, what we did is we took their phone number from their cell phone that they were using, and we transitioned it from the cell phone into the software, so that they kept the same phone number. The business had when someone calls the hair salon and no one picks up, what happens is our software automatically responds to that person via text message and say, hey, I'm sorry I'm not available right now, but let me ask you, what's your name, what's your email, what's your phone number? That person will write it, and what can I help you with? As soon as that person, the person on the phone says, hey, I'm interested to get my hair cut, okay, great, I have your name, your phone number, your email, and your details of what you're looking for. As soon as someone is available, I'll have that person reach out to you. So now a salon is cutting someone's hair, and then they get a bunch of calls instantly from Google. Our software is intercepting when it's a missed call, capturing their details and what the reason for the call is, therefore setting up an opportunity for a sales opportunity for that hair salon.
Yeah, definitely. That's a very, very good, very profitable help. So I know you're dealing with a lot of kind of industries, a lot of kind of different kind of business. So what is the strangest or funniest incident that you have experienced while working with your business and with these kind of different kind of businesses?
What would be an example to you funny or strange?
Well, I don't know, whatever you consider funny or strange, that it's not the normal way of dealing with someone or with dealing with a business. And they say, well, this is the first time that this happens to me. And sometimes it's funny, but sometimes it's just strange that you couldn't imagine that you have had that kind of example, even to lead that way.
Yeah, as I go through my mind, nothing comes up to top of mind today. I do see interesting use cases for people who are utilizing our technology. There was a business, for example. So usually I'm communicating consulting on customer acquisition. Now, there was a member who utilized our technology, a member of our software who utilized our technology, and what they did was they had a challenge with hiring staff. So they had a keyword, like text the word staff, to apply to work inside of our job. So when someone will text them the word staff, they would go through the application phase, And one of the things that they do in the application phase, there's a series of questions. Based on the answer that they give, there's an automation that they built where one option is, if based off the answers, if it's in alignment of what the business owner needed, they would say, great, next steps is schedule an actual appointment. If it wasn't based on the objective of the business, they would say, unfortunately, you don't qualify. And that was done automatically. And I was very impressed by this outcome here. So they had a series of questions in the survey, and then inside of the technology, yes, you can use it to get customers, but you can also use it to hire staff. And this business owner decided to hire staff and automatically disqualify people that were coming in that weren't a good fit inside of their business.
Yeah, definitely. They are streamlining their process, right?
Yeah.
And that's time, and that's money, and that because it's more focused on what you know how to do in terms of the business you're in. So, yeah, I can see the benefits right away.
For sure.
So, what do you see in this CRM industry? What do you see as the coming trends within this business and this industry, and how are you staying on top of that?
Great question. The coming trend is going to be AI, where AI is going to be your employee today. When we think about small business owners, one of their biggest costs outside of the cost of either taxes or inventory is going to be payroll. That's the number one culprit for the highest cost for most small businesses, is the cost of paying people. And today, there's technology where you can have AI be the employee. AI can write your emails for you. AI can pick up your phone calls. So instead of having a front desk person or a receptionist pick up the phone calls, let's have artificial intelligence. That technology is already inside of our software. So for example, when a small business owner utilizes our technology for the voice AI feature, they can set it up, and let's say that it's a plumbing business. When someone gets at 2 o'clock in the morning, let's say a plumbing business is not operational, but at 2 o'clock, they're not open at that time. They're open between 9 to 5 in that scenario. The plumbing business can turn on voice AI, and when the voice AI, it will capture the name, email, and phone number of a caller, identify what their challenge is, put it all in text, and send a text message to the owner as well as to the team, letting them know this is the current circumstance. So as soon as the team walks in, they already know their first call is going to be the call that came in at 2 o'clock in the morning. Versus what would happen years ago? You would leave a voicemail. That was the coolest technology. You would leave a voicemail, but when someone who's in a situation, they are prompted to leave a voicemail, they don't even know if your business exists anymore when a voicemail comes up. So they end up canceling the call and then going to the next person on Google. But if your voice AI could capture the name, email, phone number, and tell that person, hey, as soon as 9 o'clock hits, our team is going to get an alert, and it's going to notify them, and you're going to be the first on the list. That gives confidence to the customer. So that's going to be the future that I see, is voice AI and AI in general. So you can use AI to text your customers, AI to build out your websites, AI to write your emails for you, and even AI to take your phone calls for you.
Yeah, so when you mix the old school with this new school, let's say the new trends, there's a new world opening for many people. So what advice would you give to someone that is just starting within this business in the CRM? What would be your best advice to those people?
The first advice is I would identify what is the niche. So Progretta is a white label software, and Progretta's technology is resold by 90,000 other agencies that are just like myself. Okay. However, in my agency, we are awarded in the top 127 of those agencies. So here's a couple of awards here. This is one award. We have another award here. Let me show you. We have another award here. So we have a bunch of these awards here, and one of the things that I would share to, for example, the 89,900 agencies that are looking to grow their business, what I would educate them on is, number one, identify your niche. There's going to be two types of niches. There's one that is a feature niche, and then one that's a vertical niche. A vertical niche is going to be a specific industry, such as plumbing or medical or medical or HVAC companies or accounting, tax. That's going to be a vertical niche. The alternative is a feature niche, where you take a feature of the software and you promote that specific feature. So for example, there's a tremendous amount of features that our software can do. Our software can build out websites. It can build out email campaigns. It could manage your calendar and so much more. But the feature that I focused on today was the chat automation feature of when someone texts a keyword to that phone number, and then there's an automation that takes place. So another example of a software with a feature niche is like Calendly. Calendly, all they have is just a calendar feature. They only focus on user software to book appointments. So they can be used for people in real estate, they can be used for bakers, they can be used for coaches, podcast guests, so on and so forth. They just focus on the feature of the calendar system. But another software, such as Service Titan, that's a CRM software that can do a lot of the things that my technology can do, a small portion of it, not all. But Service Titan, in that example, they're specifically for like plumbing and HVAC companies. So they focus on a vertical rather than a feature. So the first thing I would suggest is to focus on a niche, either a feature niche or a vertical.
Yeah, that's a very good advice. So what is the one thing that has been most instrumental, particularly in your success?
Great question, Robert. One of the things that has been instrumental as far as growing my business has been implementing a one-to-many model. I used to, in the beginning, I used to sell one-to-one, where I would go one-to-one to a small business owner and I would sell my software. This is how most software entrepreneurs get started in their business. I transitioned from that, and where I no longer do one-to-one, I focus on one-to-many, where I host webinars. Every single day I host a webinar. Majority of my webinars are automated, where I record a pre-recorded presentation. It's about an hour long, where I explain the value of my product and how it helps small business owners, and I give them access to an automated presentation that it looks and it feels real. That's number one. Number two is I do a live webinar once a month where I can answer questions and bring people together once a month. So every 4 weeks, I'm there live where I bring in hundreds of people, hundreds of business owners at a time, where I educate them on the value of my software, my technology, so that way they can grow and experience this technology inside of their business. So instead of doing one-to-one, do one-to-many.
And that's something that had exploded your business in terms of numbers, I guess.
100%. For example, for a small business owner to go ahead and utilize this technology and sell this technology. Let's say they go ahead and they do an hour meeting. They go to Starbucks, they meet with somebody, they sit down with somebody, and when they're sitting down with that individual, they spend an hour to an hour and a half educating them on the value of the product, the value of the system, and how it's going to help them in their business. And at the end of the day, they make a sale. Congratulations, you made a sale. How much was that sale? Let's say $399. So great, you made $399. It took you an hour to make that happen. I'll give you an example from our staffs from a recent webinar. We had 133 business owners attend my webinar, and I closed $81,000 in annual recurring revenue in one 90-minute presentation. And that all came from communicating to a large group of people the value. There was a small portion of that group who said, hey, I am not interested at all whatsoever with what you're promoting, and I left the training, left the Zoom room. And there's a small portion in that room who said, hey, I am interested, I'm going to sign up, and they signed up, and they worked with us.
Yeah. Now I understand the power of one-to-many, right? That's going really, really massive. So let's talk about the future. What is the next growth area for you personally and for your business?
Great question. So here we're transitioning, like I shared to you, there's 90,000 resellers of the same technology. And today, the way that we're growing is we're supporting the 80,000 or 80,000. I keep saying 80. It's 90,000. The majority of the 90,000 resellers, we're supporting them in growing their business and partnering up with them. Ultimately, in the future, long term, to take it to private equity, where we'll sell the business for over $100 million.
Mm-hmm. So that's part of your plan, that you increase, grow your business and then sell it.
Correct.
Okay. So why in the future and not now?
Because at our current stage, we're valued at $1.9 million. When I sat down with a business exit strategist, I said $1.9 million ain't really going to change my life. But what will change my life is $100 million. How do I start that? And I essentially need to 50x the revenue. And the way that I'm going to 50x the revenue is going to support other people to grow their business.
So what needs to happen in order to get to that level?
So great question. What needs to happen is, and I need to create 50 people just like me. So there's thousands of resellers. I need to create 50 people just like me who are creating results and partner with those 50 people. So it's not about just creating 50 people, because I can create hundreds of people to support them to create hundreds of thousands of dollars in recurring revenue. However, the people that I work with, I want them to partner with me where we can then take our entire organization to private equity and we all can get a piece of the pie.
Okay, yeah, that's a good strategy. So here's a funny question. If you could have lunch with one person, living or dead, who would it be and why?
I would want to have lunch with 50 Cent. The reason why 50 Cent, the rapper, Curtis Jackson, is because he comes from an impoverished area and he transitioned his mindset. And I think one of the things that will happen if I had lunch with him is he would communicate, he would be able to share the shift. He can relate and he would communicate a shift and the journey. So let's say, for example, in 50 Cent's journey, he had a 30-year run. And I'm at, let's say, upon his 30-year journey, I'm at the 10th year of where he's at in his 30-year journey. He can share and predict what the next 20 years is going to look like and paint a picture and paint a path for me. If I had lunch with someone who is hard for me to relate, their 30-year journey is going to look completely different than mine. So I want to be able to sit down with someone that I can relate with. Number two, by being in that level of proximity to someone like that, someone that I look like, someone that I can be around, someone that I'm inspired by, someone that I know their background, a lunch is going to make a huge impact because I know so much about his journey. I know so much about his products, about his services, down from when I was a kid listening to his rap music, all the way to now watching his movies and reading his books. I know so much information that the questions that I would ask him would be very potent compared to the question that I would ask, for example, someone like Elon Musk, which I just heard about most recently.
I think it would be very helpful in your path, and in the future that you are just set up for yourself, right?
One of the things like I would hear in the world of, I would hear like in the music business, in the entertainment business, I would hear about different problems and different challenges and people having drama and people having beef. I remember years ago, maybe in 2008, there was like this huge beef with Kanye and 50 Cent. And people are like, are they going to kill each other? Is this drama? What is happening between Kanye West and 50 Cent? And years later, now recently, as I go into reading the books, one of the quotes that I've heard in the past, not from 50, is if you want to hide something from someone, you can just put it in a book. So if you want to share something with the world but not share it crazy publicly, just put it in a book, hide it, and it'll grow with the right minds because they read it through a book. So when I learned about, for example, the cost of doing marketing, and the same exposure that 50 Cent and Kanye West, the same exposure that they got, at that time, they didn't have the financial funds to market and spend marketing dollars to get that same exposure. What created that exposure to sell out both CDs, both mixtapes, and both pieces of art? Because what happened between Kanye West and 50 Cent is they had a release date of an album on the same day. On the same day. And so that's like, hey, we're going head to head. Let's see who gets the most sales. But at the end of the day, behind closed doors, it was like, it doesn't matter who got the most sales. We both are winning. And they drummed up this fake beef and this fake narrative to create drama to the public eyes. And people are like, I'm on 50 Cent's side. And people are like, I'm on the Kanye West side. When they both, at a level, surpassed their previous numbers.
Right.
One other example is when Kanye West was with a rapper called Chameleonaire. Chameleonaire had a hit single out. And 50 Cent created a post and created some content saying, Chameleonaire owes me money. And Chameleonaire, being new to the game, he's like, dude, why are you mad at me? Why are you saying this stuff about me? What's going on? Why can't we just call me and just let's hash it out like men? And then he said they met in person at a concert. They met in person. 50 Cent took him to the room and says, I have no beef with you. I don't have any problems with you. What I want you to know is if you responded and retaliated to me just on social media and online, if you had responded, that would have boosted your sales and you would have made such an amazing income from it. I love you, man. I gave you an alley-oop. I gave you an opportunity. You just didn't take advantage of it. And so it's this learning of how to market the business in a way that's creative, that creates results with limited resources.
Yeah, I can hear, I can feel you're passionate about marketing, and I know it's vital for anything, any business or any even type of life that you can live. It's the way you portray yourself outside. So it's been very, very interesting talking to you, Andy. So what is the best way for people to contact you if they'd like to work with you or discuss any referral partnership?
Great question, Robert. You can go to andyaudate.com. That's ANDYAUDATE.com, or I'm Andy Audate on any social network. That's ANDYAUDATE. Or you can text me. That's 702-830-7408. Once again, that's 702-830-7408. And yeah, I'll reach out to you.
Perfect. Okay, so that was terrific. I really enjoyed this conversation with you. So thank you, Andy, so much for being with me on this podcast.
Robert, thank you so much for having me, my friend, and it was amazing to be on here with you as well.
Thank you for joining me on Big Life Weekly series. I hope today's episode gave you the insight, inspiration, and tools you need to move closer to the life you're meant to live. Remember, true success isn't just about what you achieve. It's about how you feel while you achieving it. If you found value in our conversation, please subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with others who are ready to embrace their big life. Until next time, stay focused, keep growing, enjoy life, and break free.